Welcome to Greige Against the Machine, the podcast where we celebrate the extraordinary talent and accomplishments of lesser-known and even unknown artists and creatives. I'm Lisa Catara alongside Justin Harvey, and each week we'll explore the minds and stories of the journeymen and women behind your favorite films, shows, ads, music, and more. Those who craft magic without the red carpet spotlight or public eye, because everyone has a unique story to tell, and sometimes the most inspiring voices are the ones you haven't heard yet. We're here.
Welcome.
Episode 15 in season 2.
That's
Mr.
more
Harvey.
than a dozen,
I
but
felt
not as expensive as
inclined.
eggs.
Oh my God, let's not even. Fortunately, I don't eat a lot of them, so I'm unbothered by this for the most part, except for the moral principles.
Routine of, I don't know, I'm trying things, but I'm trying not to be my age. Can I tell you something?
When you figure that out, yes, tell me something.
There's no secret to it. There's no magic trick. There's no easy way. That's the part that I've figured out. That's the part I can tell you for sure.
Don't resist.
I got to tell you about something that I love this week, Lisa.
Yes, please.
I love bacon.
This is not a revelation.
No, Kevin Bacon. Bacon.
That's also not a revelation. All right, how many degrees of separation are you from Mr. Bacon?
I believe when I checked, I'm 4 degrees of separation now, but it doesn't. I think that's not even fair anymore because he's done so much and so many other people have done stuff now that it's not even fair. Like it shouldn't.
Okay, well, what is this love for Kevin about?
Okay, so him and Kira Sedgwick have a thing that's going around virally on social media, just talking about how much they love the movie Sinners.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen it yet, but it's something about the way they did it. They're just taking a little walk in the evening. They're talking about their love for the movie and that people need to go out and support. And it honest to God touched me. I was just like, wow.
I feel like with them,
I want everybody in the whole industry to do stuff like this. Let's get people going to the movie.
I feel like they're unique in that they've been doing stuff like this for a while now because of pandemic and then, through our strikes. I feel like this is who they are. They are the most genuine, wonderful, aspirational couple online. And they just happen to be in our industry. So I'm glad that you have been exposed to the bacon.
And it was just totally random. I'm just doom scrolling my life away on IG or something. And it popped up and I was like, and I stopped because I've been interested in seeing the movie. So I've clicked a few trailers, which is why
we're all interested in seeing it. It's getting
served that content. But it was great. It was great. I was just like, wow, that's really awesome. And now I'm going to buy a ticket and I'm going to go Tuesday morning. Because that is when it is. That's when AMC does matinees and discount. That's realistically when I can go the most affordably, and it doesn't mess up my schedule.
It used to be that our SAG-AFTRA membership cards would get us into the movie theaters for free, even in LA. Like for the longest time, we all saw free movies, which was amazing when we had movies. Now everything is streaming. So even when you go to vote for things, when they do send you things, you're getting like 1,000 links and so much content now. There's just no way to screen all of it and then vote.
I have a card here that probably gets me in. It says AARP or something on it.
My gosh, yes. Yeah. Happy birthday, right?
Yeah. No.
Rude. So rude. Anyway, not to make you feel old. I wanted to cheer us up today so we didn't have to think about that. And I thought, let's get as much Cleveland into an episode as we can.
I never have a problem with that. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, baby. What's up?
I represented today.
I have to.
I met this lovely woman in our industry who is not only from Cleveland Heights. Hey,
what's up, Harvey?
But she's holding down the fort for Greater Cleveland, Ohio. Stacey Malone, actress, producer. She's a writer, award-winning, by the way. She owns her own company, 1221 Entertainment Group. She's the co-founder and the president of the Women in Film Ohio chapter.
Oh, and is doing stuff here in Cleveland.
She's in Cleveland. I'm saying, you should know each other. I know.
Okay.
But she's just a strong advocate for filming in Cleveland, and she's all over the place. I want to say she graduated from Wright. If I'm wrong about that, Wright University, she's going to correct me. She was the assistant stage manager, if you know, Karamu House, which is like one of the oldest Black theaters in the country.
My mother has performed there on many, many occasions.
You see why I think it's going to be a good interview.
I love it. Well, let's get her in here. What do you think?
Let's do it.
All right.
Come on, Miss Stacey.
Welcome, Stacey.
Hey, everybody. How are you?
Yay.
That's hands.
Well, we can't do the because she never went to Heights. But
I rep it though. I mean,
Heights adjacent.
So I mean, we don't call it Heights.
We can do Heights.
Everything that happened at school, so we Heights. I'll do it.
Yay, one of us.
My first trip to the Heights was great.
When somebody told me they brought back the Arthur Treachers, not to get completely off track already.
They did. It's right across from Heights.
That blows my mind because I remember that place from when I was a little tiny child, and then it turned into like a Wendy's or something else. And
there was a McDonald's there that couldn't even hack it that closed due to like
violence. Yeah, on the other side of
I just remember the one across from Richmond Mall.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They had one in Richmond Mall and the one across from Richmond Mall, and then it was just the one in Richmond Mall, and it went away.
Yeah, that's a Heights thing, knowing your landmarks by your fast food.
Yeah.
Now that KFC that used to be there is a Lefties.
Yeah,
it's got to be weird. Like, I haven't had a chance to tour the campus the way it looks now. I don't think I'd recognize it really.
It's completely different. It's completely different.
Well, I lived right across the street from Heights High, and when I was growing up, there was that ticket booth for the football field. Mm-hmm. That is completely gone now. So, like, the view out of my old front door isn't even the same as when we were in the Heights back in the day. But, and I'm, not to keep it so regional and specific, but like for other people who aren't from the area, I've noticed in all of these cities, like the post-pandemic shift is not just an entertainment industry thing, like service industries and all these things have changed and shifted so much. And like here in Cleveland, what the sandwich guys, Melt, they were booming before the pandemic and they were opening up franchises everywhere. And you just see these vacant Melt buildings all over town now. And it's like that in every city. And everyone I talk to is like, yeah, my place where I grew up is totally different now. Yep. And it's not an experience that's unique to any city anymore. Like the pandemic just changed everything.
Yeah.
The West Side, nothing ever leaves the West Side.
Right.
Nothing ever. You can find a Ponderosa over there. Like,
and that's where I'm at now. And I didn't grow up over here, but my mom got a place over here. So I'm just like, I don't know this part of town. I still go to the east side for stuff because I don't know.
It's a habit. It's a habit and it's home. I haven't been there for quite a while, actually. The pandemic kind of threw me because I was inducted to the Hall of Fame for Heights High School, but in 2020, thank you. But I couldn't go in person and talk to the kids in person and be a part of it in person. So I'm well overdue to like go back and kind of feel the neighborhood.
Even on the Hall of Fame. Dang.
I have the best luck.
Yeah.
So Stacey, let me ask you, what is the state of the entertainment industry, in your opinion, in a smaller market like this in Cleveland?
Well, I'll tell you this. Last summer, we were the most booming place to be filming at, even out over LA. We had 2 films shooting. We had Eeny Meeny, which I had the pleasure of working on as a director's assistant. And we had Superman. So we were the most booming place filming all last summer. So it's going pretty good. Our tax incentive is going to be going up for the next couple of years, which is great. And I know they're working very hard at trying to change how some of those logistics are to really make it be open, because now it's kind of like a closed system and they want to make it an open system. So I know that that's growing, and then a lot of independent. I think we've got a lot of smaller companies who are doing really great thing on Tubi. Thank God for Tubi for a lot of independent filmmakers around.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think that our industry, our writers, and that's where Women in Film comes a lot, is that we like to try and get people on the ground floor and really steer them into the right place to get their, to get their career started.
I love that you're a strong advocate for like not only just reaching back and helping people up, but getting them at the beginning of their careers to help curb them, to avoid the pitfalls a lot of us had to face at the beginning.
Yes. That's, if I could know a lot of what I know now back then, I'd probably be a lot further than I am. But things happen for a reason, and I might not be the person I was if I didn't go through the things that I did. But any little help in this industry, just
that's what we're trying to do. That's what we're trying to do.
So if we can be that resource for people and connect, because I try to tell everybody the main thing in this industry. They say phrases and it's who you know. That's not just a phrase. That is the industry.
Mm-hmm.
That right there is the sauce.
You sitting at home, not doing anything and not meeting anybody and not going out there and networking and connecting and checking up on people, because sometimes people
Justin.
You're
well,
something.
I don't do enough of it here in Cleveland per se, and I probably should. And the funny thing is, so I stumbled on Heights Girl on Tubi,
Okay.
Probably I think it was almost a couple years ago now.
Mhm.
And I even said to myself after, what's that?
It was a long time ago.
Yeah. And so even after I watched it, I was like, man, I should hook up with some of these people. And then I did get busy with a show out of town, so I never did. And I kind of, regret it because I'm just now getting my Cleveland contacts up. And I still try to work out I work out in New York and LA. And that was one of the good things out of the pandemic when anybody can get work.
Right.
But the fact that I don't have to specifically be in an office in LA anymore, and I can get work from Cleveland. Like I got a showrunner job out of New York, living here in Cleveland.
Yeah.
And they had an office for me there that I used for all of 1 week.
Of course, because that's how it goes. But yeah, it's so crazy because it's like the pandemic, there were good things that came out of it, even though it was a bad thing when we were going through it. But it's like now it's almost like it's broken that plane of you have to do this, you have to be in a place that you can have a lot more access to. I don't know if it's great for LA, but it's good for everyone else who can now, don't have to go to LA. You can do your self-tape and put it in. You can get those parts, and directors can see actors that they may not have the opportunity to see.
So and to be honest, we use these resources, like we use Instagram and we use TikTok, and we use these resources to find talent in other marketplaces where maybe we have something unique and need a specific talent for, especially in stunts. Like we found people, I should say I had nothing to do with the hiring process, but my boss found talent for Wakanda by looking online, and there were amazing skilled parkourists and whatnot, Black women who we didn't have enough of, to quite honestly hire from. So they were pulled in, and now they have a chance at a career, so long as we still have film and television. But like you said, everything's kind of going independent. I feel like independent right now, the gate is wide open. The potential is just limitless for people who want to make film.
Exactly. And I think it's almost kind of like, in a way, film is almost getting ready to take us from where it is in the hands of the people, in a sense. And
they'll certainly have more of a voice with someone like you than with Hollywood, the AMPTP.
Well, and Women in Film, on May 8th, we're actually going to be doing a class with Film Hub, which is an aggregator and can help independent filmmakers know how to get their things on a Tubi, and Prime Video, like, again, for our doc that we didn't know that you couldn't just upload it on Prime no more. That's not a thing no more. You can't do that. You got to have an aggregator now. So a lot of people don't know that, and they have great content and know where they can't do nothing with it. I mean, YouTube's great, but
YouTube, it's hard though. Like it's a huge ocean of content, and you got to find the good. There's good stuff there.
I mean, it's great as
Justin,
a hosting.
We're on YouTube right now.
I know, and it's great as a hosting service, but as a real distribution service, I mean, you put something on YouTube, you're not distributing it, you're hosting it. It has a place where the video is being served, and then to monetize that or to do anything with that is a whole nother level of the game. And disseminating it to people and getting them to come there and to see of other stuff. And especially for something like a film, people aren't really using YouTube and the internet that way. They want to be on a streaming service. Like they want to see it on Tubi or Prime or one of these other platforms.
Yeah.
Which it doesn't make any sense necessarily, because the video streams just fine on YouTube. I watch movies on YouTube all the time, but for some reason serving long form content there doesn't seem as successful.
To sit still.
I mean, and also you have to remember too, is like, again, because of the pandemic, like now it's almost like with film, you break the context of what you use. Like you can use a Zoom now in a storytelling, and people's eyes are not gonna be like, oh my God, what is that? That doesn't look like everything else. It's like I said, it really kind of just broke everything, in a sense.
I feel like the one thing that some filmmakers in Hollywood have kind of sidestepped or maybe just overseen is that the audience adapts well. Like when we change the way that you view things, when we put them on short form or TikTok, vertical films are being a thing now. The audience is like, it's new, but they almost emphatically jump on it and like, okay, new experience. Let's go.
I look at Reels, the Real Stories. Have you ever? It's an app. And they have man, get me on to watching I Had a Baby with My Ex's Dad. Please, I'm watching it. I am watching it. Yes, paying the coins. Yes. All day.
Yeah, it's a bit of a car crash, but like there's a lot.
Exactly. Like,
adapt or die.
Man,
he does reality. So like you ask Justin, he's
well, and I've looked at doing some of this stuff. Like Quibi didn't quite work because it was bad timing with the pandemic. Quibi got out Netflixed because everyone was like, wait, no, I don't need short form content. I'm stuck at home. I need long form content.
Right.
I need Tiger
I
King or
is
whatever.
bored.
Right.
You know, everybody went for long form documentaries and stuff they could binge. And like Tubi just, or not Quibi just hit at the wrong time. But now there's like 3 separate companies that are doing these short form soap opera verticals.
Okay.
And they are killing. I mean, millions and millions of views.
Yeah.
So one of my producing partners and I, we've been talking about trying to bring some cooking show and reality content
short form stuff
potentially to those platforms.
So smart.
The real trick for us is we have to reinvent the format if we're going to do that and make it more bingeable, where there's cliffhangers and hooks, because those little short soap operas are working because just like the old days of soaps, they it's the Friday soap.
Yeah.
They're always on those short form ones. They're always doing a Friday episode. They're always giving you the big cliffhanger that gets you back for the next week. It's not a Wednesday. It's not one of those. The story is exactly the same as it was on Monday, and then they just stretch it.
Right.
You know, soap operas had a very
now. Like that.
Right. So trying to figure out how to take a cooking show or competition cooking show and break it up so that every 10 minutes or so you have a cliffhanger.
Sub-story. Lots of sub-stories.
Yeah, you have to have lots of subplots, lots of little things going wrong or little potential hiccups.
I'll tell you, one way to think of the Quibi platform, we do previs. Now it's kind of expected by a director or production company that we'll go and previs ideas, which I'm sure you know, if you worked on Superman, you go and you shoot it, and then they probably just use what you shot. You don't get paid for it, but like, people are using this as a means by which to do previs for their film concepts and their series concepts. So they'll do like one episode with a cliffhanger and they'll put it out there as a short form content. And then if people are interested in it, they're like, we like this. We'd like to expand upon this. Do you have anything more? Like, 12 episodes or a whole feature film. So it's a great little hook. Why are you laughing?
No, and just, it's funny because when I started in reality TV, it was before HD. And I was kind of in reality TV when the switch from 4:3 to 16:9 happened. Yeah. So the first few years, actually for quite a while, we had to always shoot this 4:3 protect, where you're not really shooting great content in the margins of the 16:9 yet. You're still trying to squeeze all the framing into the 4:3. But now, if you're shooting 16:9 and you're trying to protect for 9:16 vertical, it's super duper weird. And I've seen people doing it. And there's a few directors of photography out there that are really kind of becoming gifted at doing these things. But it sucks to try to shoot the protect for this.
Have you tried horse blinders? Like narrowing your...
I mean, that's just the same thing if you try to do on, social media, like you have something, you're like, okay, well, YouTube, I need it on this, and then I have to have it on this for reels. And then for the post, I need it like this. And you're like, oh my gosh, how many do I have to make?
All of them.
Right. And just like,
no. And I had to do that I was directing the 2 Chainz show, Most Expensivest, for a while. And
I love that show.
Yeah. I did the last season of that show, and everything we shot had to be something that could be vertical, horizontal, because that show was not just a broadcast show. Like the long form version of that show was one audience, but then we got millions of views on GQ's YouTube. Right. And then on IG, they wanted verticals for Reels and TikTok. And it was just
it's all about the clips.
And I mean, literally millions and millions of views on the stuff that I did past the show airing on Vice. But shooting like that is just a nightmare. It's a technical nightmare. And I mean, you know how these things go. Like you, as an artist, you want to paint in that frame.
Yeah.
You want people to see the vision, and then it's like, oh, now the vision is this.
Right.
Right.
Compressing that background and having all that cool stuff over here is useless.
All that placement, like how long that art department placed all that stuff for you to not even get a corner up.
Yeah,
they worked 3 months on that.
Oh, and guest stars being cut out of shots and stuff. Like I heard it from who did I hear it from? It was like it was Sarah Silverman. We did this thing, and she was so mad that when we cut the vertical for IG, like she's not even in 3 of the key shots, and I'm like,
this is interesting. This is interesting because now you've got names vying for a vertical center position on a frame. Like I can see the contracts now.
Next to a cut out of 4 2 chains.
That's now in the writers now.
Like, I'm in the writer.
Yeah,
I must be shocked.
Just making your job that much harder.
That's
oh my god.
So looking forward in the Cleveland area, like how do independent productions here staff up? What's the process like in a smaller market like this? Because I know in LA, you know, all the big services tend to help staff things up, and then there's agents and PR people, and you know, the machine is really geared towards it in some of the bigger markets. What's it like in Cleveland, just getting people on a project and finding the right talent to staff a project with?
Well, I know that for one, if let's say a film like a Disney or, you know, Peacock, because I worked on Shooting Stars too, if they're coming, it's a union thing. So they're going to union people first. So that's going to be always the first end all stop all of all. I know the film commission works really hard, and those mixers, people are hungry and they really want to work in the film commission. Them mixers are hot.
I should have been at the last one.
Things are hot. Like it is standing room only, and those people are very excited, and that's kind of the way that I mean, there's a registry on there too, but again, it's really kind of, well, you know,
right, and you got to be fast. Like Stacey, is that like speed dating? Like, I mean, do you have to have like a pitch, and like you have to find the person that's actually legit and like lock eyes? And I mean, how does that work?
I mean, it is a little bit about speed dating in a sense, but like I said, there's a lot of organizations that have different mixers. Like our organization has mixers. Right. The film fest that people have, you just go there and you network that way.
So you kind of know who you're going to say. I
mean, a lot of times sometimes it's the same people.
Okay.
I like to try and get more people in because you just never know. You never know.
Yeah.
And it is going to be as you do more. Like I said, a lot of these more independent, smaller companies, it will be kind of like, hey, we need somebody on Thursday. Do you know anybody? And it was like, oh, hey, yeah, I know a couple of people. Let me go ahead and give you their information, see if they work out. So it really kind of, again, who you know, who's around, networking.
That is the best feeling, though, when you can get somebody employment who deserves it.
Gosh, it really is, and especially when they work out. Because I've seen some people and they were terrible. I'm like, oh, you know what?
I didn't really know them.
Fine on my set. I don't know. They were great when I worked with them. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, that happens.
Really kind of more so that sort of aspect.
And I have to admit, I worry about that going into smaller markets sometimes. You know, I do quite a few traveling shows, and so I do have to hire locally sometimes. And it's not that they're bad people or unintelligent or whatever, but they're not getting necessarily the same amount of reps that somebody out of New York or Chicago or what a bigger city might be getting. So do you find that it's hard to find the good, like, I mean, you're in the mixers or whatever, but like, do you get people who are just not qualified showing up?
I've never had like just terrible people. Everyone is, and I will say this from the the big films I have worked on, that is one thing that I've heard the people from LA say is that the crew is great here. They're great.
Very good. Yeah.
Professional, fun. Like they go out with us afterwards.
Like
becomes a family aspect. And that's that wonderful Midwest mentality that we have.
I love it.
And it's like a little warm hug when LA comes. They're like, oh my God, so nice. We're like, why wouldn't we be nice? And like,
I have colleagues from school that I graduated with who have bistros and cool spots to hang. So like I'm always telling them, hey, if you're filming out there, make sure you reach out to this person and like they'll hook you up. Make sure you put them first. They put you first. It's the whole thing. But why wouldn't Cleveland have amazing pools of talent? It's by an international airport. It is culturally thick with diversity. Honestly, it's got a lot of programs like Caribou and like the Playhouse and all sorts of programs like the orchestra and the dance. And we have everything in Cleveland. And so I never found a shortage of talent.
Because Tri-C has a film intensive that's 6 weeks intensive.
Awesome.
A lot of training going on. CSU has a film school that they did when I was younger. So there's a lot more training aspects. The film
phenomenal.
We do things. So the workforce can work if people give us jobs. That's what
So it would behoove everyone to find their tribe. Like if you can go to these mixers and wrangle your tribe, and that includes the crew members too. There's no shortage of ideas and stories. Like people, they fall out of the sky when you come from that part of the world.
Prime example, we had 2 girls meet at our mixer, didn't know each other, 2 Black girls, and they figured out that they both like sci-fi. 2 Black girls who liked sci-fi. They ended up making a film about Kent State. And so it's about Kent State and how these girls get into this trial and they end up going back in time, and they go back May 4th. You know what day night?
Okay. I went to Kent State, so I know.
Figure out why they've been sent. Why are they sent back?
Good.
Change something, and they met at one of our mixers, and that's how it happens.
I love that.
Just the opportunities are.
Wait, so now have they made that movie? And what's it called?
It's called. Oh shoot, I'm sorry, because we shared it at our we had a content and tea, so it was a tea party, and then we showed a few of our members' films that they've been working on, and then we also showed a film that was an NAACP award nominee. Cool, called Chocolate Sprinkles, and she actually was the writer and director from Chocolate Sprinkles. And if you haven't seen it, it's really, really, really good.
Where can we see it?
I'm gonna send you the link after, because I can't remember right now, because I think might be on YouTube, but I know they're still in festival circuit, so I'm not sure.
Fantastic.
So it's going around. So if you're on the festival circuit, check out Chocolate Sprinkles.
Chocolate Sprinkles. It's amazing. It's a great short. But she's from Cleveland. The writer and the director is from Cleveland. So we're like, of course.
Clevelanders in the film industry know if they reach out to me on Instagram, I will almost emphatically adopt them, and I'll leave my box up. I don't take DMs, guys. Don't DM me because it's just flooded. But if you are from Cleveland and I've given you permission, I will answer any question that I possibly can to help you get your film career going. Because I started from complete obscurity. I had no idea I was going into film. I went to Broadway. I was music my whole life.
Okay.
So that's what I thought I was going to do. But 9/11, so I got in the car and I drove across country. Had I had the mentors and I had someone like you who's part of a film commission and part of Women in Film to help reach back and be like, hey, kid, let me show you some things. Like you said, God knows how successful you can become.
Exactly.
So I love being that.
Yeah.
It's another reason why I wanted you on the show, because I love people who are moving and shaking. I love it. There's enough to go around. Woo.
I mean, that's the thing that I was talking to my friends, is that like with the high school I went to, which is no longer, rest in peace to Regina, but we did not have a lot of doctors and lawyers and whatnot. That's probably half the reason why the school closed, because we didn't give money back. But what we did learn from there is service. Service to others, service to your fellow man, and that sort of way. And a lot of women who graduated are in the nonprofit field.
Oh, wow. Awesome.
So, our school may not be here anymore, but the lessons we learn about sharing and caring about your neighbor and helping them, rise up to that we all can be in the same level, it just keeps going on. So
we need that more than ever, Miss Malone, right now.
Jesus.
Humanities. Wow. Ooh, so exciting. It gets me excited about Cleveland. Like, I don't know what the deal is with me and Cleveland Film Commission. As much as I boast about Cleveland, and I don't shut up about it. I can tell you all the phenomenal things about Cleveland and what it offers and why it's just such a phenomenally amazing city. And I mean that sincerely. I don't want to talk about a mistake by the lake. That was New York. That wasn't us. I want to focus on all the good things about Cleveland. I have tried so many times to forge a way to have a voice there and get things moving since 2005, when I began my Hollywood journey. Not recently, the whole time. Right. I did one film there where by the time I actually booked it and got to Cleveland and filmed for the day that I worked or 2 days that I worked, it was such a small role. I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I get to see my parents and I'm going to film with some nice people. Who cares, But it wasn't something that I put on my reel by any means. God help me. And then I try every time there's a huge film with stunts in Cleveland that I'm right for, because I'm a freaking local hire there. I'm in the Greater Cleveland Film Commission. I can't get hired on it by the Hollywood guys that run it. So really? When Superman went there, first of all, it started right here in Georgia, where I am currently.
Sweet
Lord. Couldn't get a single day on that. As someone who fights for contract provisions and rights for members and whatnot, couldn't get a day. Coordinator didn't know me. I'm like, okay. Then it went to Cleveland. I'm like, hi.
Hi, I'm from there.
Hi, I have a house there.
I can work local.
Parents are there.
Wait, I pay taxes here. Local hire. Local.
No, Cleveland wants nothing to do with me in terms of film yet. Yet, my love.
Yeah.
Right. That's the whole thing. Like, but people, Cleveland, we are determined, and we are definitely, we don't take no for an answer.
What's another 20 years?
I mean, I will say this for Cleveland Film Commission. I haven't dealt with them with film, but they have helped me out tremendously with some of the reality stuff. Like, I came here to do Fresh, Fried, and Crispy for Netflix during the tail end of the pandemic, and my friend Shannon McIntosh, who works with the Cleveland Film Commission a lot here, she came on as a fixer and AP for me, and she dialed some stuff in with them. And next thing I know, we're shooting in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame during, like they rolled out the carpet for the production. They hooked us up, but again, this isn't me trying to get, below the line work. Like when I was an audio guy or something, that might be a different story, but that's me coming in as, an executive producer and them.
Justin, everybody's read your writer. We know how complicated you are and all the things that you need. We know.
It's so complicated. Like before we went on the air, I was trying to explain to Stacey how I went to 4 high schools in 4 years in Cleveland.
Oh my God.
Too complicated.
You're like a wanted man running from the law.
Yeah.
Kind of. You told me everything I needed to know.
Yeah. I grew up in Cleveland Heights. I'm like, I lived there. And then she's like, I went to Catholic school. I'm like, I did too.
See, that just makes you be able to be a chameleon to a lot of different people. You have a lot of different experiences and make you be able to relate to different type of people.
And I'll tell you the truth, honestly, when I went out west, it was probably my greatest strength was the fact that I grew up in Cleveland Heights, because Cleveland Heights, when I grew up there, was very much a melting pot. We had blacks, Italians, and Jews for the most part.
Some of us are all of those things.
Right. And we all ate bagels and lox. We all listened to the Dead Milkman and Public Enemy. We all ate pizza. We all went down to Murray Hill for donuts. Like everybody did. Yes. Like everybody had these kind of shared experiences in this melting pot kind of area. And we also had Midwest work ethic.
Oh yeah.
So then when I went out west, people are like, wait, you seem very cultural and like you're working your butt off and you make the best coffee, and
we're like unicorns.
And they were surprised. And I'm like, I'm just thinking to myself, damn, I'm glad some other kid from Cleveland didn't get in here before me today, because this is what we all do.
Plenty of them did.
I will always just talk about how amazing we are. People from Cleveland are. I will never, ever, never. Everywhere we go, we make an impact somewhere, and that kind of just. But they always want to just. Can I cuss on this?
Yeah.
Okay. They always want to shit on us.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Just like who's that comedian? The last one just talked some stuff about us that we're a toilet. Your face is a toilet.
There's nothing toilet about. Where was he from, by the way?
I don't know. Was it the guy
Pennsylvania?
From the guy from Mad TV. Have you seen him?
I'm sure I have.
Talking about people and anything with your face looking like, look at.
Get him, Stacey.
What are we doing here? Like, we don't care about you. Why are we into this? But everyone's gonna bring us in here because we dope and we amazing.
Well, as you know, the public has a skewed vision of our industry too. They think that all of us working in this industry are millionaires who live in the Hollywood Hills that go to red carpet events. We're privileged. We eat caviar and drink baby's blood. That's the perception. Where it comes from, I don't know. Can't tell you I've ever witnessed any of that last part, but okay. But it's the same with Cleveland. I think a lot of that comes from sports ball, to be honest, like the football teams and stuff bagging on each other. But the mistake on the lake was such a catchy term, and it's hard to shake. Total misnomer, by the way. Our lake did not catch on fire. New York was sending its trash down the waterway and set everything on fire. The lake itself, no. But well, whatever. What do I know? I'm just from the area. No, Clevelanders are amazing. Amazing. We, my family, they immigrated here, went to New York, got their name saved and not butchered. Woohoo! Success. Came down the railway and started making things with their own hands. They had a shop in Euclid, Ohio called Tarantino Brothers, our last name, and did their thing until machines came and did it cheaper and faster. So we love to work. Very hardworking people.
I mean, that blue collar mentality is what makes us so desirable. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of us are just,
Exploit us.
Exactly. Like, and we're willing to do just about whatever. I mean, and we're gonna have a good time.
Hang on.
I said about.
Hey, let's create some boundaries right here.
About is a wide gap.
It is very too wide, I think.
Lisa has better boundaries than I do because I have done ridiculous things in entertainment. Yeah. They have thrown me out of helicopters and off of boats and all sorts of. And I'm not a stunt person.
Oh well, that's the
I did all those things and I wasn't doing.
You've got a different aspect. The stunt, yeah. You got to watch what you're doing.
Yes, he's an ass. Come on, Justin.
So, Stacey, I gotta ask you. I gotta go back to Heights Girl because when I was looking at your resume and I saw it on there, I was like, oh my god, I've seen this movie, and so I'm wondering, like, how does a film like that in this market come about and then end up on Tubi? It seems like it was really cool to me that it was like, oh snap, some brothers from Cleveland just went and made this dope ass little movie, and like people are seeing it.
Well, it is a group HWIC films, which is Hollywood and Cleveland, and it's Johnny Filmworks, who is not a brother, but he is a brother adjacent,
as we say.
You know, he's a brother in his heart, but he always is. They're great, and Dave, who is from Pennsylvania, but always has Cleveland in his heart, and they have been making films since they were young kids and wanted to expand it, and they love urban stories that they want to tell, and they're great. They really are. They hire one of my really good friends, Jillian Holt, who writes just about all their films that they do, and they have a long line they've been doing for about over 10 years now. They've been doing films.
Right.
So like now their films on Tubi, they're like number one, number two constantly. Like Black Men Don't Cheat. What's another one? Scam Likely, which I was in that one as well. But Heights Girl just came from the idea that he grew up in the Cleveland Heights area, and there's something about them Heights girls.
I mean, I went the other direction. I dated two girls from EC when I was from Heights, and people were mad at me. So
yeah, that's not. Yeah, it could have been. You can do Shaker or you can't do Shaker, and you can't.
No, Shaker was a big no. Like I got enough from dating girls from East Cleveland as it was, but
because you know what, it's okay with East Cleveland because there's like that part that's like East Cleveland, Cleveland Heights that you just kind of can't really. It's like the same area.
I'd have to see your line of delineation because, like, after a certain point, you weren't East Cleveland. You know,
you can tell when you hit East Cleveland for sure.
Different culture. That's all I'm saying.
The grass changes.
Grass changes.
If you go, if you go down Belvoir, you know that big hill down Belvoir.
You know, over the one intersection, you're like,
there's that one right, and the grass is just cut.
Right.
And you're like, I'm in good lights.
I have to not talk about this when I talk about my upbringing. My parents made us walk to school. So from about our area, I was walking to Heights, I was walking to Roxborough.
Okay.
My whole life I walked to school. It's a good 2 miles.
Yeah, we all did for some reason. They didn't have no buses
through the neighborhood.
Whoa.
We were on a block that was 1 block away from where you were allowed to get on a bus.
Okay.
And I found this out because I really sprained my ankle, I think in field hockey. Someone hit me and then I fell and I needed crutches. And I was walking to school in the winter on crutches because they wouldn't come and get me off the bus. It's like a whole thing.
They wouldn't even let you just walk a block and then you could catch the bus there.
No, I was in the wrong zone.
No, they were really weird about it. Like in middle school, I couldn't get a bus to Roxborough either. And it was like 2 miles away.
2 mials. In middle school.
Yeah, we walked. We always walked.
Catholic school in East Cleveland, so there was no buses. No buses at all. I went to Christ the King. So
she's like,
I'm like, hey,
this seems safe.
we had this. It was a company who like they just went around and picked up kids. Like it was like their own kind of. It was like a van. It was
the unmarked white van with the candy.
Are you with production? Yeah.
And it picked up about 6 of us. And
girl, you were built for this industry. That's all we do.
Safety in numbers.
You know how easy it is to abduct somebody?
In the 90s, people didn't really care about kids.
That's true.
They didn't. Fine. They'll be fine. If it rains, they'll come home.
Just pick up our children. Yeah.
Nobody understands Gen X, man. This.
Like back when you used to be able to walk up to Kane Park or Cumberland or Forest Hills, and now you can't.
Once I got to like 6th grade, I used to take 3 RTA buses to get from there to to Cleveland Heights. I would take 3 buses. I would take the 31C going up, the 9B to Severance Mall.
Small. Yeah.
I've been on the 9B. 37 on Taylor to drop me off right in front of the candy store.
Queen.
I mean, we all did that. I used to ride. I was 12 years old working at Tower City.
It wasn't that we were able to do that. It was that it was completely okay to let your kids just
go.
Just live.
My children have not gone out the front door without me standing next to them in ever.
You like wrap some in bubble wrap.
Like that. So I'm in a nice area. I still won't let my kid walk around.
No, absolutely not. Not anymore.
Well, my kids grew up in LA, so it was just like, y'all, I'm sorry. Like they come to Cleveland and they're like, hey, can we go over here and here and here? And I'm like, it's just you can't go Kinsman, but you can go this way.
Yeah, tell the whole story. His kids grew up in LA with a producer father in Hollywood as actors themselves. So,
okay.
They booked. My kids booked a lot.
Yeah. He exploited his children.
Very
smart idea.
That is an ROI. That is ROI.
Yes, ma'am.
They my kids were always given the option to not do it. They enjoyed it. I didn't have to stage parent them.
Nice.
I always went to set with them.
Not always.
Well, Teresa went with them sometimes too, but somebody was always
the one that I was there.
And we were that you picked the one day I wasn't on that show. I was there. My daughter did a Cadillac commercial with the Russo brothers.
Okay.
And
ironically,
I was on set with her for 2 days, and then the third day, and I hadn't seen Lisa in years. The third day, my daughter works with Lisa, and I'm not there.
Oh.
So my daughter and Lisa actually did a Cadillac commercial with the Russo brothers. That
different scenes. Oh my gosh, she's
different
so
scenes. But yeah, my daughter was with a bunch of karate people, and Lisa was with a bunch of stunt women in the commercial for this Cadillac STX campaign, which was really cool.
God,
and it was
really
the Russo brothers right after Avengers.
Yeah.
So like
Cadillac paid them some money.
Yeah.
Cadillac paid them some money.
Cadillac put me on a buyout, but yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Cadillac put her on a buyout too. She still gets money from Superstore and a couple other things. And my son still gets money from Mattel and Kool-Aid.
Nice.
And one other one. But yeah, a lot of them were buyouts. A lot of them were buyouts.
I remember commercials.
Oh, when the work used to flow.
The good old days.
Yeah.
We'll be fine. Don't worry. AI won't take all of our jobs, just most of our jobs. So there's that. Although, I think producers are safe. So y'all are going to be just fine. I think the one thing it won't do is the job that it easily could replace, which is like, probability stuff and budget analyzation.
I like movies and stuff like those. I mean, like they're okay, but you could tell they're AI.
I don't like them at all.
They're a little off.
Yeah. You can't feel them and you can't see yourself in them. And I feel like that's the magic,
Well, the thing that AI can't do is cultivate taste.
Right.
No.
It can approximate and extrapolate information and try to do it, but it can't be a tastemaker. It can't curate.
No, it's just spinning things out. It's nothing original.
It's the facts. Here's the facts and not the
right. But it's only going to be good as the voices that are programming it. So we got to make sure that, in this world of digital advancement, people like us have a voice in AI training. Unfortunately, you got to work with the machine, or it's all going to be one kind of thing, and it's going to be boring.
I mean, it stinks because it's basically the robot arm that came into the car industry. Like it's coming. We probably can't stop it, and somebody's going to have to tell the robot arm what to do, and then somebody's going to have to double check the work. But where there used to be 5 people, there's going to be 1.
Yeah. I don't know if I like that analogy, only because when you talk about the automotive industry, in the early 1900s, the automotive industry changed when technology came in. It's not the same thing as completely replacing human skills and human connection. That's the difference. That's what's happening right now. So when you eradicate the things that connect us and help us to communicate and use deductive reasoning and critical thinking, that to me is dangerous. To me, I'll go so far as to say it's a crime against humanity in the wrong hands. The automotive industry with the arm and the technology, you're really facilitating. You still have to use all the skills. Just initially, I'm sure it was less people, and now it's a whole bunch of other things involved. But this will grow differently, I think, until an audience is like, we hate it, and just stops giving its money.
Yeah, that's the only way you can make something like that die is you can't just not feed it with money.
Ignore it.
Right.
Just like children. You just
That is true. That is true. That is true.
I don't have any, just so we're
You can have mine. They're free and available.
No, I'm good. So nice of you, but no, I'm good. Your kids are adorable, but no, I'm.
How old are your kids now?
15 and 17 now, so they're almost grown.
Okay.
And I'm very proud of my son this week. He got a 31 on his ACT, which is great, and also didn't beat my score, so I still feel like I have one up on him.
Sorry, James, this is your dad.
Yeah. You gotta have a little bit of that rub it in their face sauce, because like parenting without that is very difficult.
I mean, the thing is that you always want your kids to be better than you, except for you don't want them to be better than you.
Right.
You specifically.
I want them to be really good
in theory better, but not really better.
Financially better, so that they can take care of me. That's what we're shooting.
Remember, they're the copy. You're the original. So the copy should never be better than the original.
Exactly.
Thank you, ma'am. Yes. Stop sampling.
Right, just saying the copy should never be better than the original. So you should always have a little bit up on them, just a little bit. Like I'm never gonna make my mom's mac and cheese perfect. Like that's not never gonna do that. It's never gonna be exactly like hers. It's because she makes it perfect, and the copy is not gonna do better than the original.
I finally beat my mother's greens, and now she makes me make them all the time.
See, you're just making more work for yourself.
I can do that as well.
That's what I want for my kids. Like if they're going to do something better than me, then they need to do it for me all the time. Like my mother has figured that out. Like, you can cook now.
Slave labor?
Again, I think that's another ROI.
All right.
Exactly.
All right.
There's a lot that goes into be a doggone parent, and we need to get a lot out of it.
Yeah.
That is very fair.
From birth to 3 alone. He ain't caught up to my tab. He's 14. He ain't got my tab yet.
That is fair.
Okay. And he's at 14 now, so we're still packing it on. I ain't even got the real high school years yet. So.
Right.
You okay?
Like, he just started liking girls, so I'm like, oh, Jesus.
Just strap in, because here it comes. It's all gonna happen and fast too.
Yeah.
Keeping up is the hard part.
I'm like.
So, Stacey, let me ask you about women in film and TV in Ohio, right? Did I say that right?
Yep, TV, television, either one's fine.
So, did you start this? Who started this?
I started this.
You're like, I did this. I did all the work.
I had
co-founder and president.
I had a meeting in my kitchen, as most good things start.
Yeah.
It really kind of started in vain, in a sense, because I was trying to get my film. I'd done into some film festivals, and I was okay. Let me get into I'm a woman. Let's get into a women film festival. So I tried to do the women in film one in LA, and it was like, well, you have to be a member of Women in Film. I was like, oh. Well, okay, well, I'll do women in film then. So I look on there, I'm like, oh, well, that's I don't think I qualify for this LA one here. I'm just getting started here. So I was like, okay, well, let me see, is there one in Ohio? Let me go join the one in Cleveland. So I go there, look, and I'm like, well, there's not. Okay, well, shoot. I know I can be in it if I make it. So I go. Right. So I said, I put a few friends that are, in the film industry around here, and was like, hey, you guys, let's start this organization. And we started it. And then we were a good strong year, and then COVID happened.
The timing, I know.
So now we're finally getting into that. The machine's starting to work again too. I've got great support staff with me. Like I said, this Film Hub thing is a big deal. It's a free class for anyone, male, female. We don't care, because this is information that we want to get out there. And Film Hub really wants to be working with independent filmmakers. We have networking things. We have classes. We just had a class this past Saturday. It was a character development class, which was amazing, from Joanne Hess, she's done a lot of different films over in Europe as a screenwriter. But it was just an in-depth class with that, and I learned even some more things about character that I didn't know. That's why I try to tell people, even if you've done it a while, it's a muscle memory, and you're
never done.
Same with actors. It's the same thing with writers. With actors, there might be something that you didn't think of.
Yeah, all the time.
It's a form of art, so why not collaborate?
That's a good message for everybody coming up to. Like, you're never done learning. You will never be done with the education of trying to do this industry. I'm at 22 years. There's a lot I don't know.
And it evolves, as we were talking about. It's going to evolve, so you're gonna have to continue to learn. If you think you know everything about film, you are already behind.
Check yourself.
will humble you real fast. Real fast.
Yes, ma'am.
Because you're doing a thing that deals with people's likes, what they like.
Yeah.
And people start not liking something real fast. All of a sudden, some scandal.
Not about us.
Nobody likes it anymore.
Right. Oh my God. I think that's our biggest fear for the on-camera people. Like, no matter where you are on the call sheet, wondering who the number 1 and number 2 or number 3 are, and like who's producing and directing it. Anything can happen. They can wind up in the news and the whole thing is yanked and then we don't make any money. So
when we were filming Eeny Meeny, the first time we were supposed to film that, the next thing you know, the strike happened. We were in the middle getting ready to do everything, getting ready to do production, and the strike happened. And we had to shut down and wait a whole nother year. So the industry is a fickle foe here.
Yeah, this one was especially egregious and difficult and complicated because of AI and because all of us in 2021, 22, there was a record amount of union strikes across the country. Not just our union. I mean, like, there was like 22 unions that went on strike all for the same damn thing. Like, maybe we're not unreasonable.
Maybe it's something. Maybe it's something.
What is the common denominator? I'll be careful. I do want to work. I'll be careful how far I go with it.
I'm never careful. I'll say it. No, I won't.
I'm telling you.
Look, the industry has been very tough, I think, in general, across the board the last few years. I don't know anybody who's in entertainment, from A-list actors down to, crew members, in any aspect, that hasn't been affected.
And what do you personally attribute that to?
The shift. There's the change in the direction of money flowing has put the kibosh on a lot of things. And I see the reactions of the executives, and them cracking the streaming formula was difficult. Too many executives held on too long. Too many of them didn't see the writing on the wall with Netflix and what was happening there. So there wasn't enough competition. And we all know competition is better typically for the industry. Netflix was allowed to define what we're doing now in general, and then HBO right behind them. But HBO has been a hot mess. It's changed hands too many times. It's hot potato. It was AOL, then it's Warner Brothers again, then it's Discovery, now it's Warner. It's been too hot potatoed. And they were being one of the industry leaders while being hot potatoed, while Prime couldn't get their act together, and Paramount didn't know what the heck they were doing because their owners were old and fighting, and they're trying to kick out less. I mean, it's just it was a lot of turmoil. There was too much turmoil in the industry all at once. And you had AI coming in and these other factors. And, when I was at Kent State in the 90s, I had a professor of journalism say that this is the first time in our history where we're not in a pop culture or a folk culture, and we had entered a selective culture. It was a brand new thing that no one had studied or understood yet. And that selective culture is the reason for this. The day that we got cable television started what we're dealing with today. Because there became too many choices, and it changed the flow of money.
Sure.
To a new
I think that was a catalyst to start shifting their perspective from production side, from corporate. But I feel like 2008, right when our writer's strike was tapering off, I feel like that was the catalyst because streaming became a thing. And the streaming model didn't exist before. So this is like a whole undiscovered territory. It was like the wild, wild west of everyone trying to figure out how to monetize.
It's all uncharted territory at this point because of the fact that the flow of money was no longer going to 3 networks and 5 radio stations and 2, newspaper companies. Now, my kids, they like wrestling, but you know what they do? They'll watch 30-second clips on YouTube. So that clip is getting 20 million views, but then the show ratings are in the trash. And if all the money is coming from Hershey's advertising on the actual show, then you've got a problem because somehow 20 million people consumed your content, yet only 800,000 people paid for it. So you're not getting the same amount of money, which then means us, the people who are in the content and making the content and doing these other things,
Right.
they're like, oh crap, we still have to pay you what we were supposed to pay you. So
Right.
now they're trying to fix that model and figure out how to get that money and whatnot. And then what Prime did last year with adding advertisements and doing certain things. Now you see Netflix is following that model where Netflix is who was the leader.
We're essentially returning to the way things were.
We're remaking cable.
And now like they don't do where you can just watch a whole season. No. Now they're back to where you got to watch
it a week.
And I'm like, listen, my ADD don't like that.
Right, I agree.
I'm cool with it. Can I get paid the way I used to get paid when network television was a thing?
And the answer to that is no, because the original Netflix model of streaming didn't have that kind of monetization yet. Now they've re-added that, but kept us all on the deals that streaming started with. So
don't worry. If you're getting as many data centers as we are around here, it's all going to be awesome.
Well, exactly how it's going to fail and why we don't have the jobs that we had before, because the amount of content is still out there, but a lot of it is self-created and generates money different ways. And the monetization has not been dialed in enough for these executives to pay us what they used to pay us,
and they don't have
as often as they used to pay us.
Yeah. We have different contracts.
They're too risk averse, and I get that they're risk averse, but we as the creators have to figure out how to self-value our content and get our money back up.
Then I say
they can't have our content if they can't give us the bag that pays
then
for the content.
They don't need our contract. We don't need to do deals with the AMPTP anymore. This can be completely independent.
And that might be the shift.
Yeah.
I'm saying like it could be back in the hands of the people.
What?
That'd be awesome.
I like how you think.
So Stacey, we got 2 minutes left. Okay. We got 2 minutes left. So what do you want to put out there for up and coming filmmakers in small markets? Like, what do you want them to know that you can disseminate to the people out there?
I think the main thing is, again, two things. I would say just do it. Nike, just do it. If you don't have the team that you want, just make content again, because it's you have to practice at it. Just like any sports, anything that you want to do, you have to practice at it. And like we talked about, if you don't have that extra work and those time clocked on you that you've been on a set, you're not going to get to the next one. And then also just again, who you know, get out there, meet people, network. You never know where that next job is going to come. And so you're not going to find it sitting at home. And that's what my two suggestions would be the big ones to start.
I appreciate it. And y'all can network with me because I answer my DMs.
Watch that on Tubi. 216 Legends of the Land. Watch that.
Yes.
That's coming out any day now. Aggregator. Any day now.
One more time, 216.
216 Legends of the Land. It's a docuseries on the evolution of Cleveland hip hop that I directed.
Ooh.
Cool.
Yeah, we love that.
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame 2 years ago.
All right. Is my boy Russ Collins in there?
Who? Say again?
Russ, I'm trying to think what his hip hop name was.
You're gonna have to give me that.
One way to find out.
I'm sure there's a couple of my peeps in there. All right, y'all. Well,
the 80s, early 80s.
Okay, that's probably
we're old enough.
I'm
Yay! Okay, so Cleveland in the house. I am thrilled to connect with you. There's going to be more. I'm creating a tribe here. There's a method to my madness. So
I'd love to have you guys come to talk at Women in Film as well. Just about
amazing.
So we have male members too. Just so everybody knows, we don't discriminate.
Right.
If you're on a mission, you're on our team.
I'm here in town, so hit me up anytime.
Yes, definitely. I want to get your information because I got some stuff in line I want to do. So I'm ready.
Fantastic.
To collaborate. I'm ready.
Thank you, everybody.
All right.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us for another Greige Against the Machine. We got some good guests coming up, too. So make sure that you click like, subscribe, comment, all those things on YouTube. Make sure you hit up Lisa's IG, where we also showed this. And until next time, keep it happy.
Thank you, guys.